Greetings and salutations. Well, this video is about rebuilding my saw table. In the last video, the first series I ever did, I built this handy dandy little shelf on the bottom here to hold this new saw. Well, I didn't measure the width of the saw and the way I built this table, well, let's just say, so totally messed up. I mean, I could fit this saw under there, but I built it for the other saw. So I'm gonna quickly take this shelf off. I'm going to rebuild the shelf using some of the wood that was used to build it. Only a couple pieces I could salvage. And I'm also, while I'm at it, going to put a new top on the top here because it's too smooth and my one saw slides around with it on there. So I'm going to put a regular piece of plywood there. And I'm on the bottom, I'm going to put a piece of plywood on the bottom so I can hold and take out, there's a middle support. There's a middle support there because it was part of a base to hold my wife's chair. So I'm taking that out because it's not needed. I'm going to put a support there. And then I'm going to shorten the support legs by about as many inches as needed to fit the wheels that I'm going to put on it. So this is going to have casters with locks. And because of that, I need this table to be however shorter those casters are. And there we go. So that's what we're going to do here. First, you're going to watch me take this middle shelf out, and I'm going to take the boards that I can scavenge out of it, and then we'll go from there. And maybe this time I won't make a mistake. Yeah. So let's try that. Let's get this going. Or not. Sounds wonderful. There's one run screw. Well, that one went out okay. So the ruined one will go straight to a garbage can. There we go. Now, let's get this one. And what helps with these screws is they'll put a lot of pressure on them. It won't strip as much if you put a lot of pressure towards, let's see, that keeps the screw head from the drill from the flipping out. Okay, a few more. Okay, one more. I'm surprised they all came out. I remember this being snug, so I'm going to need a persuader. Wow. Okay. Not sure where to go from here. Let's see. Okay. Oh, man, that's rough. Maybe I'm jamming it even worse. Okay. There we go. That probably could have gone easier if I knew what I was doing. Okay. I'm going to readjust the camera angle in a second. To the table, to my bench. Okay. I'm going to need to change bits to a Phillips and pull all these out. Ooh. Wow, had some long ones in there, that's for sure. And this one here was a long one, I think, and it broke. Very short, because it busted off in the wood somewhere. Remember, you got to use a lot of pressure. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right. Well, this is a Oh, you always miss a screw, don't you? There we go. Now this piece I'm going to put in my wood pile as a spare for some other time, because I'll probably find something that could use a small piece like that. As long as they're not smaller than the size of a sheet of paper, I think it's cool to reuse your wood. Okay. Gotta go back to that other bit I was using. I love it when I have multiple different head screws, but that's what happens. These are the I don't know if they're called hex heads or whatever. So the only thing I can really salvage from this shelf that I made, well, nice. Of course, I had to use staples, which is fine at the time, but now it's keeping me from taking it apart. Let's see. Okay. Removing staples. Flathead screwdriver does a pretty good job on getting the staples out enough so you can get it with a pair of pliers. So it's kind of a combo thing here. You get it loosening them up enough that you can grab it with the pliers. And then you should be good. Of course, you might have to do the other side too. Now for the pliers. One, two, three, I think. Four. Yep. And if you're having a hard time pulling them out, wrap it around, wrap your pliers around it in a way that it pulls it off. Just grip onto it and just kind of spin it around. Oh, okay. That's done. And that's also, well, no, not done. Guess what? We've got another side here, folks. Yeah, this construction method made putting the miter thing together better. But when you have to take it apart, it makes it a little bit more of a challenge. It's just more work. But I wasn't planning on taking this apart ever. It just, well, if I would have put it together correctly in the first place, I wouldn't have had to worry about it. So there we go. There we go. One. Am I going to count staples again? I think I am. Being a cheap Dutchman that I am, I think I'm going to save these little boards even though they're not that big. But if I ever need a half foot or something like that, who knows? There'll be a point where I have to organize and throw away, but not right now. But these boards are more than long enough to do the new ends. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure I was just going to use a tape measure and do all that jazz, and I realized I'm not real good at measuring. Sometimes it's just best to, let's see, to take your reference. Well, let me cut these ends off. I'll make doing these a little easier. So, okay, I'm going to cut these ends off first. And speaking of cutting off, I think I cut off my head too. Well, I mean, you don't need to see me and my lovely green shorts. Okay. It got warm here in New Mexico all of a sudden. It was a 90-degree day. It hasn't gotten that high yet this year. Oh, one end. And it's good to start with straight edges. I was going to try to do it, but that was going to make things messy. Alright, that's done. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to line this up. And you gotta be kidding me. Because I cut the ends off, that's too short even. Well, I wouldn't have ever guessed that. Yeah, okay. Good job, Curtis. Real nice. I should have checked that before I cut these. So now they're just 2 inches too short. Oops. I guess they were the right size when they, yeah. Okay. Okay. At least this one will work. Oh. Yeah, that really smarts. Well, now I gotta get all that work just to get that wood off there. And I can't reuse it because I screwed it up. Hi. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Day in the life of me. Well, anyways, that's the beginning of that. Yeah. Let me cut this board a little on the long side because I don't want to waste this board. And I'm just going to compare it to this. And okay. Perfect. Okay. And I'll verify here. Yep. Okay. Stand it up on end. Yeah, they're the right size. I'm still smarting from screwing up this board. Yeah, that was like, yeah, a big stupid mistake. Okay. Let's see if I have any more 2x4 pieces that I can use. Oh. Doesn't look like it. So, yeah. Nope. Nope. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm going through my pile right now of wood. And unfortunately, because I screwed that up, I'm going to have to use a fresh piece of 2x4, which really sucks. Because as you've probably seen, 2x4 is like made out of gold now. I've heard people call them golden sticks because they've like over-juggled in price, which is stupid. Totally capitalism for you. Okay, here I go. Oh, I know you can't see any of this, that's why I keep talking. Of course, as anybody who knows me will say, I can just be talking to myself anyways if you weren't there. Okay. This really sucks. Okay. Fresh piece of wood, I'm going to have to cut it up because I made a stupid little mistake. Yeah, I figured. I'm going to measure this one first. And if I would have measured first, instead of doing it this comparing it way, I would have been okay. But no, I did not do that. Oh, and this piece of wood's got a nice little cut in it, and I don't really want to use it anyways. So, that's life. I'm not going to feel too bad then. Alright. Cut off a piece from the end. And I think there's a log jam in here because the last time I did a piece of wood, I ended up getting sawdust in my face and everywhere else. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is pull some of this out of here. There. Okay. I'm going to cut this board, and then I'm going to cut the other two. And I don't know, I'm starting to lose my faith in miter joints. I know they look better, but it's a pain in the butt to do them. The butt cuts are a lot more, less chance of splitting the wood and a lot of other things. Okay, let's see if this will work. Level, or it's going to have an angled cut to it no matter what I do. Okay, now here's this board, here's the one I just cut. Okay, I'm going to stand them up on end, and I need to cut just a tiny bit off of it. Yep, that does it. That one's good at least. So I'm going to use this one to just mark off the size of the other ends. Wait a minute. Before going any further, if I do a butt cut instead, let's see. That means the center would have to be, I could have the center. Yeah, I'll be able to use these boards anyways. Okay, brain engaged. So, that will work. Let me put this board up a minute. I'll explain what I'm talking about in a second here. To do a miter cut, you need to have the boards the exact length and width of your frame, because of the miter cut, the way it is, you have to have the exact width. Well, a butt cut is you butt the boards against each other. So, since I've cut these to go the entire length, that means these will only have to go from here to here. Well, you can't see that. They only have to go, they're going to go across, and there's this extra 1 3/4 on each side that this will cover. So, this is less than, it's like at the most 2 inches shy. And over 3 inches in thickness, when you count both of these, 1 3/4 and 1 3/4, well, 2.5. Something like that. Yeah, it's math. So, I will be able to use these boards after all. Okay, that is sweet. So what I got to do here is, it's some figuring, and then I'll get it done. So this distance is 20 and a half. Okay, these boards are 19, just under 19. So, if you add, let's turn you around here so you can see what I'm doing more. If you put these together like they're going to be set together, and a half, which is the length measurement here. So you combine these to the middle piece here, and you get 22. So I'm going to have to take off an 1.25 inches. So these are, like I said, these are 1 3/4 a piece, which makes them 2.5 inches. So 2.5 inches plus, this is almost 19, gives you almost a little over 22 and a half. Okay. full inch. Let's take off just an inch here. Let's creep up on it because normally I can do the math in my head easy enough. But I'm really tired apparently. And since I already made a boo-boo, might as well try to fix it. Okay. Gotta lose 3 lines. Like I said, I'm going to sneak up on this, so I'm going to go a little shy of where I think I need to be, so that I'm not totally messing this up. Okay. $20.50. Right on the money. Okay, now that I got the one side correct, I'm going to use that as my master blank. I'll cut this one. And I think after that I'm taking a break. When I come back, I'll put together the frame. And we'll start taking this thing apart. Because I needed the saw table to make these cuts. But after these cuts, I don't need the table anymore. And I can start taking the table apart. After I take the table apart, then I'm going to put it back together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these legs, these support legs, to the outside. They're now on the inside. These are on the inside. They're going to move them to the outside, and that'll be enough room for my saw to fit. So that's it for now. Thank you. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper. Nanu nanu, and have a good night.